y'all doing today? It is March the 8th, 2024, and I'm just a couple days away from my procedure. When I spoke with the nurse the other day, he told me, he said, you better take some duct tape and tape your Eliquis bottle up so that you don't make that mistake again. And I actually did that today. I went ahead and pulled my, my last two blood thinners out of the bottle and tape the bottle up and put it in another closet, so I will not make that mistake again. I've already got my Lovenox shots already out, so I gotta get on those tomorrow morning. First thing, I gotta take my first Lovenox shot, so I'm gonna make sure 100% that I do not make the same mistake that I did the last time. I really want to get this procedure over and done with. And then, of course, the next day, I talked with them this morning about possibly moving my dental procedure, and they said that I should be okay, you know, because they are putting me under for this other procedure as well. But like I said, I just think it's going to be for the best, because I can just go ahead and bridge over the weekend and then go have my procedure at MUSC on Tuesday. And then the next day, well, when I get home that afternoon, because we're gonna come back from Charleston that day, I'm not gonna spend the night. When I get back that afternoon, I'll take one more shot of the Lovenox, and then I won't take anything the morning of Wednesday for the dental procedure that I have to have done, and then I'll resume back on my Eliquis at night, as long as I'm not bleeding too bad from the oral surgery. But I'll just have to see how that all pans out. But just figure I'd give you guys a little heads up on that. Also, before I hop into today's video, just a little bit of news. My wife met with the insurance agent yesterday, and luckily the guy that's going to be doing the body work on her truck is a family friend, and told the insurance agent that labor is not a problem, and that he was going to do us a favor. I guess there's a certain percentage that you have to get to, so I think if it's over 75% of the total value of the vehicle, they'll total it. It was rather high. I think it ended up being about $9,000 worth of damage to the vehicle, but since he's not going to charge us so much for labor, they said that they're going to go ahead and repair the truck. So that is a huge weight off of our shoulders, knowing that you know, that we're going to be able to keep her vehicle, that they are going to repair it. You know, I thought that the frame was actually bent, and it's not. It was just the area around where the radiator was bent, but the actual frame is okay. The radiator was busted on the vehicle, but it's mainly just a bunch of cosmetic damage. You know, there is a little bit of engine damage done, but most of it's just cosmetic. You know, the whole bumper, the whole front end's got to be replaced, but they're gonna do it, and that is, like I said, a huge weight off of our shoulders. We don't have to deal with going and buying another car for her and all that kind of stuff, so that's a big relief, and that really has taken a lot of stress off of me. And while I'm talking about the car accident this morning, I actually, my wife was leaving to go to work this morning, and she was taking my boys to school, and she came back inside. I always, you know, go and tell my boys goodbye and give them a hug first thing in the morning and tell my wife goodbye. And she came back in, she goes, don't be too loud. The deer are back out there again. That family of deer that I recorded and showed you guys the other day, they have made our land their home now, and we have seen them every single day for the past few weeks. And this morning they were right down at the bottom of our, well, at the top of our driveway, but like right over here, right by this building. I have these pots, and they're full of monkey grass, and the deer were out there eating the monkey grass this morning. I actually got some video footage of them, and I'll throw it onto the end of this video just so you guys can check it out. They're so cool looking, and they just look at us. Now, I did this morning, I hollered at them, and they kind of just, you know, just walked off in the woods. I didn't scare them. They're not afraid of us at all. There is a buck that's with the family, and he tends to grunt at us a lot, but I just think that he's just letting us know that he's there. But anyway, now that I've spent all this time talking about that, I want to go ahead and jump into today's video. And In today's video, I want to talk about something that I think is very important when it comes to quitting drinking or quitting using drugs or whatever. And I think it's something that, is often not talked about. I know I've spoken about this before, but I just think it's a really important topic. And for any of you guys out there who have recently stopped using or have, have got some sobriety under your belt, or you're even thinking about stopping drinking, this is one of those things I just think is very important to do. And what that is that, finding new friends, during this period of time. I'm not saying that you need to stop being friends with people, that are still drinking and are using drugs or whatever it may be. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that during your, at least the initial part of your sobriety, I would definitely avoid hanging around people that are using alcohol and or drugs, whatever it is, whatever your vice was. But and I don't know. I couldn't tell you what the time frame may be. I would imagine probably until you're comfortable in your sobriety and triggers aren't so big for you and you feel as if you can handle it. And at some point in your sobriety, you are going to have to face triggers. I mean, it's just part of it. There's no way around it. The only thing that you could do is lock yourself up in your house and never leave. And unfortunately that's impossible. You have to go out. We have to go to the grocery store, we have to go to work, we have to go to the DMV, we have to, and for those of you who don't live in the United States, that's Department of Motor Vehicles. That's where we have to get our driver's licenses and our license plates and titles for your vehicle and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things, doctor's appointments that we have to go out for in public. There's just things that you're just going to have to do. And in our day-to-day routine, we're going to encounter triggers. It's just part of it. But my point to today's video is that I really think that just removing yourself from groups of people that, that you previously used to use with, I think it's just a really good idea. I was just talking with a friend of mine last night about something very similar to this topic. One of the things that we were talking about was, being a married man. He's a married guy as well. We don't go out to, to singles parties or anything like that. And, there's group settings, I guess, that you can go to. There's speed dating, stuff like that. And there's places where people to get together, and there's single groups and stuff like that. And if, and I'm just using this just as an example, but this was our conversation last night, is that as married men, we don't go to parties like that. We don't associate in single groups. We don't participate in speed dating things, and I'm not on any dating websites or anything like that. And the reason is that both of us are married men, and I think that applies to the same thing. Is that if you're quitting drinking or using drugs, and you got you're trying to get sober, or you are sober. I really think that kind of applies the same. You don't want to put yourself in that situation, for one, for the temptation of it, and two, it's just, there's nothing wrong with any of that. There's nothing wrong with being single or whatever it may be. It's just a different lifestyle. And I'm not saying that, married people and single people can't be friends. It's not what I'm trying to say at all. The point I'm trying to make here is that, and I think the best way to explain this to be is that I'm not going to be on a dating website for any means. I mean, I'm married. I'm in a relationship with my wife. I'm happy, and there's no reason for me to put myself out there. I mean, that would be ridiculous in order for me to be on a dating website. And I feel like that that analogy kind of applies to this. And I'm just going to use myself for example. I'm sober. I'm not going to go to a bar and hang out. It's just not the place where I want to be. It's not the environment I want to put myself in. I don't want to surround myself by that much temptation. And the same thing goes with the friends and or family. And like I said, I'm not saying that, you can't associate with these people. And it's one thing too if you're talking to somebody on the telephone or whatever. I mean, I think that would be just fine, whatever. But what I'm saying is like, going to parties or going over to a friend's house and there's going to be a bunch of friends there that are going to be drinking and things like that. And at the end of the day, it's your life and you're going to do whatever you want to do with it. And I'm not sitting here telling you what you can and cannot do. So please don't misconstrue what I'm trying to state here. I'm just saying from myself, and I'm just giving some advice. And like I said, it's neither here nor there. You can either take it or leave it. And I'm not trying to influence you either way. I'm just saying, from where I stand, I just think it would be a good idea just to find new things to do, new people to hang around with for the time being, especially being around sober people. And, and that could be anything. It could be going to an AA meeting and meeting people there that are sober. You could put out something, I don't know how that you could put some, I don't know if you could make like a sobriety group on Facebook or something like that, or on Instagram, or I mean, there's so many social media platforms that you could, start a group and start trying to attract people to it. And you could have a sobriety group that's local in your area, that you're all like-minded people, and you want to have friends and hang out. Maybe you could go for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, or just sit down with a cup of water or whatever it may be. Go to the park with your sober friends, go for a walk or whatever it may be. And there's all types of other things that you could do too, like looking up, I've talked about this so many times, but like trying to find a new hobby. There are so many groups of people. There could be like something like a pottery class that you could go take, or some kind of like I don't know, some kind of like a home economics kind of a class that you could go take, where they're teaching cooking, or something like that. Or you want to get into sewing, or maybe making quilts. My mom makes quilts, for instance, and her and another group of ladies, they all get together and they make quilts together, and they show off their quilts to each other. And it's just a group of ladies just making quilts, but they are like-minded and they enjoy talking about quilts, and it's just something they do. And I don't know if they drink wine or anything like that when they meet up with each other, but that's something that she does and they enjoy it. And there's all kinds of social settings that you can put yourself in that are sober, and there's no alcohol involved in them. But I just really think that it's really important to just pull ourselves out of those situations just for a little while, until we get really comfortable in our sobriety. There's just no point in surrounding yourself with that much influence, that much temptation. At the end of the day, and I know I've spoken about this before, but misery loves company. And I can tell you from myself, and I know I've talked about this as well, that when I was a drinker, I was that guy that used to really try to push people to drink heavily. I was sad, and I was depressed, and I was in my own alcoholic world. And I didn't like the fact that I was the only one that drank to the excess that I did. I didn't like the fact that I was the one that was always super intoxicated whenever I was around people. And I wanted to get myself to this level, and most people were down here, and I was always up here with my drinking, and I wanted people to be up here with me. I'm running around acting the fool, and other people are sipping on a glass of wine, and I was always the guy, will you stop milking that and drink it and be a man and take that shot? Come on. I was always that guy that was pushing people. And I look back on that now, and I'm rather ashamed of how I acted back in those days. But, I can't take it back, and that's who I was. And, now all I can do is move forward and look forward to the future, and not do things like that anymore. And, of course, now I'm here talking about sobriety. But with that said, there's always going to be that one person at any party or any get-together. There's always going to be that friend that's going to want to push. And, at the end of the day, like I said, misery loves company, and there's going to be that one friend who's just, going to want you to participate with them, especially if they're the only one drinking. Nobody likes to drink alone. I take that back. I used to like to drink alone all the time. But a lot of people don't like to drink alone. Now, at some point, a lot of us, when we get really deep in our alcoholism, that's majority of our drinking is alone. You know, we're alone at home, you know, sulking in our sorrows while we drink and just thinking all kinds of depressive thoughts. I know I used to. And of course, I would, you know, get my first drink in, second drink in, third drink in, start feeling really good. And then after that, it was kind of downhill from that point forward. And then I would just start getting depressed. And I would start having these really negative thoughts and all this kind of stuff. But there's going to be that person a lot of times. It's going to be there, you know, whatever kind of setting it is, especially if there's alcohol involved, that is going to be drinking to excess, and they don't want to be the one there alone drinking in that manner, and they're going to want to pull you in with them. And why put yourself in that situation? It's just, I just wouldn't do it. And like I said, I'm not saying, you know, disassociate with these people forever. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that until you get really comfortable in your sobriety, I would definitely, you know, try to associate with people that are like-minded, that are trying to do the same thing as you. People that are trying to be sober, or people that respect your sobriety and won't drink around you. And, you know, that's going to be for you to find out, you know, who those people are, and, you know, are they going to respect the fact that you don't drink? You know, and to each is their own. Everybody's got their own idea on, you know, what they're willing to tolerate and put up with. And some people can be around others drinking, and they're just fine. I know for myself, I just don't want to be around it. Have I been around people drinking? Yeah, I have. And I got to say, at first, I was completely fine. I wasn't bothered by it at all. Now, there's only been a few times I've been around alcohol since I've quit drinking, and I could probably count them on both hands. But the times that I have been around people that were drinking, it's been completely fine until it gets to that point where people start getting intoxicated, and that's when I start getting a little annoyed. You know, when people start to get drunk, they start to get loud, and people will start to argue with each other sometimes. It's just, it's something that I never noticed until I got sober. You know, when I would, you know, I was always the one that was always the drinker at the party. I was always the one that was just, you know, way out there. And so I was always, you know, speaking over people. I was always so loud. I never paid any attention to anybody else's actions because I was just always caught up in my own self. But now, you know, that if I'm ever around anybody that's drinking, it's so crazy to look and see how different people start to act the more they consume alcohol. You know, the first drink or two, people start to get a little relaxed, and maybe they'll get a little bit more social. But you'll start to notice as people's alcohol consumption increases, they get more and more in their body. The louder they get, you know, the more confrontational they'll get. You know, and it can be something as simple as whatever music is playing. You know, somebody might be like, turn that stuff off, let's turn on some good music, and they might just be a little bit more pushy than they've ever been, and that stuff can, for me, can be rather annoying. But at the same time, like I said, you know, if you don't put yourself in that situation, you're not going to have to encounter it. And like I said, the point of today's video is I just really think it's important to surround ourselves with like-minded people until we are comfortable enough in our sobriety to where we feel like we're not going to break, and the temptation isn't enough to push us into breaking our sobriety. And, you know, it's one thing when you're walking in the grocery store and you walk down the aisle that has the alcohol on it because you have to go down there to get your soap or whatever it may be. And all stores are different, you know, where they keep their alcohol at. But, you know, it's one thing when you walk through a store aisle and you see beer there. You know, that can be a trigger, but at the same time, it's not in your face. And there's not somebody sitting there, you know, going, come on, man, have a drink. Come on, man, you know you need this. You know you want that. Come on. You know, when people are constantly pushing you, the peer pressure, it's just something that you just don't want to deal with. And, you know, I've found that anytime that I've been around people that have been drinking, that, you know, that I have to keep explaining to them, I don't drink. No, thank you. I really appreciate it, but I don't drink any longer. And I've had to make, you know, all these, you know, excuses for it, or I have to keep explaining myself, and I just don't like that. Now, that's not all situations I've been in. It's just been a couple that were like that. And there were other situations where everybody was completely respectful and understood that I'm sober now and I don't drink, and they didn't pressure me one bit. But like I said, it's just a flip of a coin. You never know what kind of situation you're going to be in. And you know, I keep resorting back to talking about like a party type scenario, but still, you know, just finding a new group of people to hang around with, like I said, that are like-minded, that are on the same page as you. And I think I think it'd be a really good idea, you know, to find a hobby or something like that, maybe a group setting hobby, because a lot of those people, you know, are probably going to end up being sober as well, especially if they're doing something like that. And if they are drinkers, whatever, it's probably, you know, a rare occasion. You're not going to find too many alcoholics in a pottery class or something like that. I mean, I'm not saying that's not possible, but you know, if you're a full-fledged alcoholic, you're really not doing much else. Alcohol is your hobby. If you're a big drinker, I know that when I was an alcoholic, well, I still am an alcoholic, but when I was a drinker, before I got sober, alcohol was my hobby. That's all I focused my attention on. I didn't care about anything else. There were some things I did, but I didn't do them without alcohol being involved in them. So there was no hobby without alcohol being involved. And if it was something like going to a pottery class at a church, and I knew I couldn't drink, I wasn't going to it. If I couldn't hide my alcohol consumption and sneak it in, or you know, it wasn't an open place where people were drinking, I just didn't want to be there. So I just don't think you're going to find a lot of big drinkers at, you know, a function like that or some kind of social setting like that. But like I said, I just think that it's very important for us to associate with like-minded folks that are like us and are trying to go down the path of sobriety, because it's such a better life, to not be drunk every single day, not continually chasing that dragon, and not being stuck in that depression and that feeling of, you know, worthlessness, and, you know, that you, like I said yesterday, that you're powerless over alcohol. And your life has become meaningless at this point because everything that your life revolves around is drinking. And I mean, I gotta say, I looking back now at when I was drinking, my life didn't have a lot of meaning to it. I can't remember a whole lot from back then that I can think of that was a very significant part of my life during that period of time. I just didn't really focus on anything positive. Everything I did was negative because all I wanted to do was get drunk. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. I just wanted to talk about that topic and just share that with you guys. And like I said, I'm not telling you what to do. This is totally your life, your decision, and whatever you want to do. So please don't take what I'm saying as I'm telling you this is what you need to do. It's totally up to you. I'm just telling you my advice and what I think. And like I said, I'm not saying disassociate from those people forever. I just think that we need to give ourselves some time and really get comfortable in our sobriety before we start associating with those people again. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. By the way, my wife has got some shirts up. Like I said, this has taken a huge process. From what she's told me, she's got to go on there for each size of each shirt. She has to do an individual listing for each size. So if it's the white t-shirt, she has to do a listing for the small, a listing for the medium, a listing for the large, the extra large. So this has taken her a lot of time. She's trying to get this. She was on the computer last night till late in the bed. I had fallen asleep. She was still on the laptop last night, just going away at it, trying to work at it. And my wife is putting in so much time into this, and I can't thank her enough. But like I said, there's a couple of the shirts up there right now. I think she's got the white and the pink up there as of this moment. She just sent me a text message a few minutes ago, and I clicked on the listing. I will add the shirt listing into the description for today, so I can make it just a little bit easier for you to just go in there and click it, and you'll go right to the page with the shirts. I will go ahead and put the white and the pink in there. That way you can just go straight to, and the hat will stay as well. So you can click on the hat link, the white shirt link, and the pink shirt link. And like I said, that'll be in the description all the way at the bottom. Just scroll to the way to the bottom of the description page, and it'll be right there. You'll click it, and it's going to be a hyperlink. It'll take you right there to the page. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here for today. thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate you guys so much, and I apologize. I did get to all the comments from yesterday's video this morning, and that took me some time. I still have to go back and reply to the rest of the comments from the shirt video that I did the other day. I have not responded to any of those comments yet. Guys, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I feel so rude that I haven't gotten back with you guys yet. I just want you to know that I'm not intentionally ignoring you. I'm gonna get to you. I promise. I'm gonna reply. I really appreciate it. And the thing is, if you guys have taken the time to come on there and leave a comment, I'm gonna do everything in my power to try to respond. I can't get to everybody, but I'm gonna do my best to respond to as many as I can. I just want you to know I do read all the comments. If I haven't gotten to them, I have read them. So, with that said, guys, like I said, I'm going to throw that little bit of footage that I had this morning to this deer, just let you guys check it out. But with that said, I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye. They're down there eating my monkey grass out of that pot. What y'all doing down there?